Hey there, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. Hi, I'm Kim C. Lee, and I'm the host of this program. If you'd like to catch us live, you can find us on Instagram Live on Thursdays at 7 o'clock p.m. or 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In today's episode, we'll be chatting with Mike Gammage. He's a new author with great ambition. Ooh. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I am Kim C. Lee, and this midday time, I'm popping in to do this live called Let's Talk About. This is a new series. It's probably going to be a limited series, but it'll be fun nonetheless. Where we're just going to grab some people who I've met online, and we're going to just talk about different topics. It's supposed to be a really, really casual conversation, but it does give you an opportunity to meet someone new, see what they're about. They may be authors, they may not be authors. And if you enjoy what you hear or you're watching, you can go and support that person, share their information, or reach out and make some additional connections. So today is our first Let's Talk About session, and we're going to be talking to Mike. So I'm going to look to see if I can find Mike here, and I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to do an introduction for him. So let's see. I see him here. Wave to all of you guys. There we go. We still have some people popping in, which is perfect. She's popping in. Just let me know, and we will work around it because Instagram is not always the
Hey, good. How you doing? You hear
Mike,
me?
how are you?
Good.
Good. Yes, I can hear you well. Let me see if I can turn it up just a little bit. Okay, can you hear me? It paused for a second because I was turning up the sound. But can you hear? Okay, perfect. I can hear you too. So let's give a moment. I see a bunch of people coming in. So let's give a moment for some people to get in. But I'm also going to ask you as we go through this. Sometimes my comments don't come up, or I don't readily see what people are saying. So if you can watch from your side too, that's great. And then we can make sure that any questions or any information that people want to share with you, that we flag it as we go through. Yes. Did you get a chance to eat lunch yet?
I made my daughter's lunch, so that's okay, good. As long as she's square right now, I'm good. Buy me like 15 minutes.
Yes, that's the most important thing. Yeah. I'm going to grab something after this as well. So for those of you popping in, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our first session of Let's Talk About, where we're just going to talk to different people that I guess I've met online. And we're going to have a slew of different topics. They may be authors, they may not. But the idea here is just for you to get to know someone new. If you enjoy what you're hearing, you can go out and support them. You can reach out to them if you have advice to offer or if you have questions and so forth. But we come across so many different people online. It's just nice to meet, like actually talk to people and hear what they're about and so forth. So, Mike, I think that we can get started. But let me do this. I always forget to do this because I don't think about the fact that people popping in may not know who I am. So I'm going to introduce myself quickly and then we'll move to you. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim C. Lee and I am a children's book author. And thank you for popping in. My most recent release is The Night Owl. And The Night Owl Goes to Space. I'm sorry. The Night Owl Goes to Space. And you can find my book on my website, kimclee.com. The Night Owl Goes to Space picks up from where my first book, The Night Owl, leaves off. And it watches the night owl, which is a little boy dressed up in a night owl pajama, journey to space in the most spectacular way I've had. So if you're interested, go ahead out there, pop in and take a look at it. If you have any questions for me, you can always send me a DM. So let's get into it, Mike. So today we are talking about new author ambitions with Mike. And I think this topic is very important because typically when I watch lives or I pop in with someone who is an author, it's usually an author who is already published, is right on the cusp of publishing, or they're like on their 10th book or something like that. So they're well in the game, well oiled, ready to go and set. But Mike is a little bit different because he has not published yet. He's like currently working through the process to even get there, making decisions on what his book's going to look like, all that different thing, and just trying to understand what the world of authoring looks like. So I think he has a really cool perspective, and he can share with us, and hopefully you guys can share stuff with him too.
I super appreciate you just off just you know what I mean, you know what you're doing for me, so I super appreciate you. Yeah.
Yes, totally. You know, and someone did the same thing for me, so it, you know, give back, circle. I actually enjoy just speaking to a lot of different people and learning about them. It's really cool. So the first thing I want to ask you is, how do you pronounce your last name? Because it's important.
That's funny. Gammage, like damage right. With a G.
Yes, perfect. So everyone out there, Gammage, you heard it. So make sure you get his last name correct when you say his name.
With a K.
Yes, that's right. With the K. Yes, definitely with the K. So let's start. Why don't you just tell people who you are? Let's not even get into the book stuff yet. But Mike, who is Mike?
I'm a dedicated family man. I'm certified dental assistant by trade. I don't currently do that. Actually, I work for U.S. Bank as a specialist. I take care of my kids during the day, particularly my daughter. She's not in daycare yet. She's 2. But she's here with me during the day, so we pretty much kick it. I get to teach her during the day, and I do that during the night. But like I said, I do have those other certifications and things and such under my belt. But I just kind of step back so that way I can. Someone had to be available for the kids, and my wife wanted to go back into the working world, so I let her do that. And I'm here available for my son if ever I need to run to school or anything like that for him. And so yeah, that's me.
So I commend you. I know it's very difficult to be home with your kids. I know in COVID, I usually go into, I don't author full time, but I go into the office to work, or sometimes I work at home. But it's a very delicate balance to be there for your kids, to be able to support them. But the positive is that you get to see this part of them that you may not have been able to see otherwise, right? How they learn and so forth. So what's been the best part for you?
The best part is, like you said, getting to see my direct impact just kind of flourish over time. I do a lot of recording videos just to kind of like, so I can watch the progress, and people have been watching it as well. And it's a blessing to see, have people reach out to me and tell me how much they see that, that my kids have grown and how smart they are and things like that. So, it's a super blessing to be able to do this. I don't take it for granted at all.
Yeah, so congratulations to you and your wife for making this work. Kudos to anyone out there.
Right.
And she's totally fine. Don't even worry. Unless you don't want her on the picture, she's totally fine. I mean, this is the real world. So does she want to say hi? Do you want her to say hi?
Yeah, you go back, okay. Say hi. Look. Oh, yeah. She a little sad.
A little shy. It's okay. Hey there. Yeah, that's totally fine. I totally understand. My son, we went through a period where he loved the camera, and now he's looking at me like,
how kids do, man. They gotta act. They gotta put it on for you once everybody watches. So it's all good.
Yes, definitely. So you recently, or maybe not recently, but you made a decision to become a children's book author. So how did you get to that place?
So honestly, I kind of drew from this experience. Honestly, it was just like it feels like somewhat like a cleansing process of me having to be here, and it's like, children are pure, and so me having to draw from this pure experience of just constantly teaching, because I don't want to just be here all day and let her just run around, you know what I'm saying? And so I do make sure that we learn every day and such, and so it just kind of came to me as I wanted to show also in my own personal life, because like I said, I'm a dental assistant, and so honestly I feel like the whole storyline and everything was just kind of gifted to me just based off my full experience from, like I said, me being a dental assistant. It's so often that when I'm working as a dental assistant, there are many of us that come in there and they're all automatically drawn to me like, hey, what's up, doc, yada yada yada, and I have to kind of let them know like, hey, I'm not the doctor, I'm his assistant. Blah, blah, blah. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, well, can you clean my teeth? And it's like, I don't do that either, you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where these storylines that I'm coming up with are going to be great for kids, so that way we can understand, the kids can understand, because even me growing up, I didn't understand the different roles. Like there's the doctor, there's the assistant, and then there's the hygienist. They all have different roles, but most of us don't know the difference in those things. And so with this first book that I'm coming up with, The Dreamlighters Go to Space, I'm going to use that theme to allow me to teach others that Okay, you have the astronaut. You know, that's what kids always want to be, an astronaut. But there's also other important jobs there. Like you have your engineers, you have your meteorologists, and a lot of us don't even know that there are meteorologists that work at the space station. And so, you know, those are the premises really that kind of came to me over, like I said, with having to teach my daughter, just making sure that I wanted her to be fully aware. My kids, period, make sure that they are fully aware of not just the top roles, but those roles that we consider to be ancillary, that support. They're just as important. And so those things just kind of developed, I guess, over time, and it kind of came to me.
So I think that you, as a Black man telling the story, and then eventually you'll be showing up to like author visits and stuff like that, but being in that position and having that presence among children is like, you may not realize it yet, but when you start doing it, the impact that you'll be having,
Right.
You'll see it relatively quickly, because children really do identify and they aspire to what they see. Like they need an example to see so they can aspire to it. So you being in that position, I think that you're going to find even more joy in it than you probably realize at this point. And then your kids will look at you and be like, oh my dad, you know, they'll also have this thing where they not just respect you, but there's a pride in what you're doing and watching you do it. So you're definitely on a great path to doing it. So how has your experience been thus far? What have been some of the hardest things for you as you pursue
honestly the
publishing
hardest
of your
thing
book?
right now is just putting in my 10,000 hours, because I've been watching so many things to kind of help guide me with like storyline development, to where storyline development isn't really even the hardest part for me. I use ChatGPT a lot to kind of bounce my ideas off, help me just kind of develop things. And so that's actually not the hardest part. For me, the hardest part is just knowing the full process. Just understanding the full process, knowing exactly what I should do versus who, just kind of weighing the options of, okay, like let me balance the budget if I go this way versus if I go that way, and just kind of, like I said, understanding the whole, because I'm coming into it completely blind. I was coming into it, and I started doing research, and it was, at the beginning, it's sort of intimidating, because it's like you were saying, it's a woman dominated industry. You're either a woman or an educator in this industry, and I'm not necessarily either. So, so for me, it was more or less, let me make sure that I've got all my ducks in a row, so that way I don't come to the table at least not knowing what I'm talking about. And so, you know, I don't necessarily count research as hard, but I can say that's been the most grueling part for me, just because I want to make sure that when I do release this book, you know, I'm releasing it and I'm doing it the right way. Everything is official and things like that. So, just kind of making sure that I got all my ducks in a row, really.
Yeah, so I think that one of the things that you're doing, and I see you out there and we're exchanging messages, but establishing a tribe, like a circle of people that you can trust. Like for me, that was one of the top things, right? Find people you can trust and that are not just feeding you smoke, that you can rely on their information, or they can point you in the right direction. People that will say, I don't know, but this other person may know. And they're open to sharing that information with you. I can also tell you that there is no one way. There is no one right way to do it. You will have to find avenues that work for you and fit for you. So what I do may not work for you. What you do may not work for me or the next person or so forth. It's really a fit for what you're comfortable with, or, you know, even like book quality. Like some people may like one quality of book. They may be okay with it, where other people may another quality of book. So your standards come into play in some of those places to figure out what decisions you make and so forth. I do want to say that if anyone is in the if anyone's watching right now, if you want to drop any gems, I guess you could say, for Mike in the chat, anything that you may have learned, if you're an author, that you may have learned along the way that you think will be beneficial to him, please do that. I think this is a sharing platform, a good way to do that. And even if you see this later, if you're watching this later on one of our pages and there's something that you can share with him, tag him and make sure that you share your information. So with that said, Mike, what handle on Instagram do you want people to tag
you can follow me
at
Mike Writes for Kids. That will be that's the business page that I created for everything. And then you'll see my own pages if you want to just follow me personally. You can follow me at Mike Gammage. Again, that's Mike Gammage. But yeah, you can follow me at Mike Gammage on all other platforms. But my business page on IG is Mike Writes for Kids, and I also have one on Facebook as well. Same thing, Mike Writes for Kids.
Okay. And I'll make sure to tag those in
Okay.
the caption when this is posted. So you talked about what's been challenging. What's been the easiest for you? So you said writing, but what else other than
Probably
writing?
the easiest thing. No, I mean writing obviously, and then I can't say networking because honestly, it's been a task. It took me a little minute to find you. But I mean, after networking, I can say networking is probably the easiest part for me, but just because I already have a huge platform, particularly like on Facebook and stuff, a lot of people reach out, follow me and stuff. So once I started putting these things out there, it wasn't really that hard for people to respond and show me love. And so that part right there, just I guess kind of building my tribe, I guess you could say, was probably the easiest part for me, just because I have people that I already consider part of my tribe anyway, that kind of love me and such. So love us.
I would also suggest that you look beyond authors, because in the publishing industry there are other people doing other things that complement what you're trying to accomplish, right? So your editors, illustrators, people who format books, do marketing, they have that knowledge. I've met a lot of people. I haven't met as many people who are doing this full time, which is like fantastic if they're doing that, if they choose to do that. But there are other people who also have other professions and they have knowledge. There's like this knowledge. And even you have this knowledge, right? You have this knowledge that extends into this other area. So I would say also look beyond just people who are writing books, right? To include them also in your network too, right? So so the synopsis of your book is that you're writing about different professions. You're exposing kids to different professions so they can learn the differences and what type of profession. So the first book is going to focus on space professions. So there's a meteorologist, there's an astronaut. What other
so far I've got 3. I try to hit 3 on the head, not to overwhelm kids, because it's going to be for early readers. So I've got the engineer, meteorologist, and then the astronaut. Just kind of take them through the phases, help them to understand. And of course, the kids are going to be hoping to go ahead and just get on the rocket right out the gate, but they have to understand that, hey, there's certain protocols that have to be followed first. So, I want to make it light for them, make it fun, but obviously make it informational for them, so that way they can understand those type of things.
So what do you see after you publish this book? Where do you see things going?
I mean, we're going to go straight to the wall. I've already got the second one written. The second one is going to be the Dreamlighters Put Out a Fire, where we'll use the same concept for a fire station, teaching kids that, it's more than just more to it than just climbing ladders and putting out the fires and stuff like that. There's other dispatchers and such at the actual station that that you can do. And so I'm gonna take this, take this and kind of flip it and run with it. Like I said, the manuscript's already done, and so honestly, once I get this process completed, then I'll already have the knowledge and know-how, and I'll be able to kind of jump right into the second book, and we'll kick it off just similar or the same way, pretty much, really.
So how are your books, how is your experience as an author going to set you apart from
so
other
my experience is, it's going to be different because, for one, I look different. And so I'm going to have, like you were saying, I'm going to have a different impact. I'm going to have and then these books are going to be a little bit different than, I guess you could say, the typical space book. Whereas it's going to be fun, but it's going to be educational. It's going to be teaching them important things. And so for me, I'm going to be getting an opportunity to not only go and read to kids and see kids smiling, but somewhat of a teacher. I'm not an official teacher, but I'll be, showing them the way, and just creating that hope for other kids that look like me, that want to see someone like me, that that's quote unquote an average Joe, whatever, But hey, he's a tall guy. He looks like he should play basketball, but he's in here reading us books and stuff like that. So I'm going to use that, to my advantage, to be honest, really.
Okay, and I think it's really cool that out the gate you're starting with a series. So the series is a good strategy. I mean, for me, it took me a while to determine, oh yeah, that's what I actually want to do. But starting out with the series is a really good idea. I see other authors start with that. So I think that's a really good idea. And it'll establish, I guess, longevity with whatever you want to do. You pick the topic where you can take so many different twists and turns. So that'll be cool. So what question haven't I asked you that you want to make sure people know about you, your experience as far as you move forward in the process?
I know a lot of people are wondering when I'm dropping the book. And so there's still some things I want to do. I can kind of give an insight on what I'm planning on doing. If you're not familiar with Kickstarter, I'm looking to throw a Kickstarter campaign. I've actually in the development stages with that, almost completed with. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Kickstarter is essentially like a GoFundMe. It's a crowdfunding platform where you can create rewards for the pledges. So if you decide to pledge certain amounts, let's say I think I have like $10, you get an ebook, but $25 you'll be able to get a hardcover, an ebook, as well as we're going to do bubbles as part of the rewards. We're going to do stickers, some coloring pages if you get up to a certain pledge amount. So that's how it's going down. I'm looking to probably start going into the fall. Just so I can get all my ducks in a row as far as on the back end. I've got a webpage coming, MikeWritesForKids.com is coming. It's not official yet. I do have the domain, but I do have an email address. If it's info@MikeWritesForKids.com. If you have any questions or if you want to join the team, again, it's info@MikeWritesForKids.com, and you can just ask me any questions right there. If you want to know, you want to kind of be on the end. That's what we're doing.
And you mentioned the team. So what are you looking for your team members?
Just kind of give me some insight, some valuable feedback. I have a few people on that I reach out to when I get to like a next step or whatever, like say cover designs and stuff like that. We've got the cover design almost finished, but that's when the team comes in and we just kind of go over a couple of things what we all like. And so what I may end up doing is allowing others to kind of vote on certain parts or certain aspects of the book. Like, hey, if you like this, you know what I mean, such let me know, whatever. So I'm still kind of deciding on that. But definitely as far as just being a part of the supporter, when I mean team, as far as like being, I guess you could say fan. I don't want to seem like I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't want to seem too full of myself. But it's, at the same time, if you want to be a supporter and a backer of the book and the series and the movement, then definitely that's what I mean by team.
So there are two authors that I have seen recently. Well, not one recently, one not so recently, went through Kickstarters. The first one is Michaela Ben. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's actually, I think her background is in marketing, but she did a Kickstarter maybe a year or two ago for her book. And then also T. Theor. I hope I'm saying your last name right. But she recently did a Kickstarter and she used her Instagram page to really share where she was in the process and garner support. So you may want to check out their pages to see how they went through that process and maybe emulate some of that. See how successful they are.
And what I may do is just reach out to you so I can get their information. Really, I can reach out to them.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm reaching out to everybody. You were the biggest blessing for me, man. Shout out to Kim. I just want to give her the flowers while we on here because everybody was trying to like grab a couple dollars out of me, but you've been giving me like, I guess, free insight and just being somewhat of a mentor to me. I consider you a mentor, so I truly
Oh, I appreciate that. So, I will tell you that there are people who offer valuable information, but you don't always. And I think part of that is establishing rapport with someone. You don't always have to pay for the information. Now, people do value your time. I'm not going to not value but there are hustlers out there. So I've met quite a few people who have gotten taken for tens of thousands of dollars in this process, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. And there's a lot of information that's free out there as well. So, yeah, definitely. So we are coming up on 12:40, and I need to grab lunch before I have to catch my thing. But I'm excited to see what happens with your book. For anyone who is online that has some information, guidance, or just any insight whatsoever to offer to Mike, please hit him up. When I post this, I'm going to make sure all his socials and his email address is included. If you have any other commentary or questions about how his path is progressing as he gets closer to the publishing of his book, please reach out, make comments. I think we all know on this. Thank you, Shaniqua. Shaniqua just gave you teas. But if you guys know, a lot of the time as an independent author, we rely heavily on word of mouth and the support of others to really push your book out there. So let's help Mike get his book out there and get him in the right direction so that he can publish his book. So thank you, Mike, for joining me, for Let's Talk About.
See you later.
Bye. Bye. I hope your peanut butter crackers. Peanut butter and jelly. Oh, I hope your peanut butter crackers were great. Good? Were they good?
Yeah. All right.
He's like, I must say.
That's funny, man. I appreciate you, Kim. You too.
Have a good afternoon. Yes. And we'll be having more of these Let's Talk About sessions.
For sure. We have a slew of people lined up.
And
this is good.
Yes, definitely. And they're meant to be just conversations, and we'll see where it goes. If anyone wants to jump on towards the end, I think we're out to June.
I haven't seen the schedule, but I know it's packed for sure. I'm glad I jumped it off. So
yes,
got the first nerves off the way.
Yes, definitely. So we'll have a slew of people that we get to talk about something with. So make sure that you join us. Look out for the schedule.
All right.
And I hope everyone has a great afternoon. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Peace.
Bye.